is a um, this is a video that's going to show you how to set up your Excel table. The next video I make will show you how to graph with Excel. So I'm just going to go through the twirling lab again like I did before, only this time you can stop and start and rewind and do whatever just so you can figure out what's going on. So just to show you, here's the twirling lab data. Start off with the centripetal force in washers, and then here I have 2 trials that I did. So I've already set up all my headings. Just as a reminder, in order to make these cells look nice and pretty, I went over here to Format, Cells, and for all of these I went to Number. And if you were doing stuff with decimal places, significant figures and stuff, you do that. For making them look pretty, I went to Alignment, and I did horizontal. I aligned everything to the center. Vertically, I did it to the center. And the key is probably to wrap text. So you have to click on this, and that makes the text wrap around nicely, and that works really good. If you want to change the size of a cell or a row, notice how I come over here so my cursor makes that little double arrow, and I can move this down, I can move this up. I can do the same thing to the columns, where I can move it sideways, back and forth, whatever I want to make this all look nice and pretty. So now that it's pretty, and you entered in all of your data, all of your trial data, then we can let Excel calculate our average. So in order to do a formula for Excel, you put an equal sign. And since I want to do an average, I start typing average. So I put an A in, and it should automatically come up. So I just click here on my average, and what it does is inside these parentheses, it's looking for a range. It wants to say an average of what cell to what cell. So I go over here and I click on B3, and then I hold it and move over here to C3, and then I let go of my mouse. And so what that did, or you could manually type this in if you want, but it's got to go B3 with a colon to C3. And then all I have to do is hit enter. And so now I have that. Now this one came up with a little green arrow up here, so I can look to see what error, but all it did is it wanted to let me know that I forgot to include this cell. But I did not want to average that one, so you just go and say, thank you Excel, I appreciate that, but let's ignore that error. And so now to copy this down, I just move my cursor so I get the nice black cross here and pull that down. And what it did is, of course, again, now Excel's saying, oh, don't forget these other cells. So again, just say thanks, ignore. And I can check it because here in the average, these ones I want to average cell B9 to C9, and I can see up here in the formula that's what I have, which is what I wanted. So I just hit enter. So that was the average time for my 10 revolutions, but now I need the average period. So I want to take this and divide it by 10, because for this one I had 10 revolutions divided by 10 to get my period. So I just say equals, click on this cell, type in a divide sign and 10, and hit enter. And so then once again I can copy this formula all the way down, and just to check it I will click on the last one, and I want to take cell D9, divide by 10, and that's what it's showing up there. So that way Excel has exactly what I want. So then we were going to do our next graph, but I'm going to wait till I do my video for that. For this part I just want to show you how to do all the Excel formulas on the table. So our next graph, we decided that we wanted to go 1 over the period. So for this column I say equals, and I want to go 1 divided by my average period. So that's 1 over t. And again, I hit enter. That works out just the way I want it. And I copy that one down. So the uncertainty for this is what we worked out in class, but I'll show you how to enter the formula in here. And so again, equal sign for a formula. And so on this one, I wanted to take my percent uncertainty and then multiply it by this. So to do my percent uncertainty, I put in a parenthesis. My absolute uncertainty for period is 0.04 seconds. So I go 0.04 divide by my value for period, which is cell E3, close my parentheses. So that part right there gives me my percent uncertainty for the period. But now I need to take that percent uncertainty and multiply it by the 1 over t. And so I go and put the times sign in here, and then click on this cell. And so now you can see that this part is the percent uncertainty, and to turn it into an absolute uncertainty, I multiplied it by the 1 over t. And I hit enter. And then again, copy that all the way down, check it, and I can see, again, it's my 0.04 seconds divided by this period, so it gave me my percent uncertainty, and then multiplied it by the 1 over t value. Okay, so now we've got our uncertainty for that. Then we wanted to do the average 1 over t squared. So again, I go equals, and there's a lot of ways to put this formula in. I'm just going to say 1 divided by my period, and I want to square it, so I just use the little caret and 2. And hit enter. Copy that down again. We get that. And then for the last part, for the uncertainty, again, this one has to be twice the uncertainty, because this one I just took the percent uncertainty and multiplied it by this. But since I'm squaring this, that's like going 1 over t times 1 over t, so that means that's going to have twice the uncertainty as this value. So to do this, I again go equals, put my parentheses in here, and I'm going to go 0.04 divided by my period, and that again gives me the percent uncertainty, but I need to multiply that by 2 because I want to double it, and then I need to multiply it by my 1 over t squared value to turn it back into an absolute uncertainty. And there we go. And again, I copy that all down, and we have our uncertainties. So the last part I wanted to show is how to make your table look nice. So first, it's always nice to do borders. So I select all the cells. I go over to Format, Cells. Wait. And then over here it says Border. So I click on the border, and then the options it gives me is to outline all the cells. Good. And then to put the inside borders. Also good. And if you ever want to do any customizing, you can do more customizing here, but this is really all that we need. So I say OK. Now the whole table is boxed in. And let's see, the last thing I wanted to mention is this table was already set up for sig figs, but let's say that you wanted to adjust the numbers being shown here, or for any cell, so you can select them all, and again go to Format, Cells, go to Number, and it tells you how many decimal places. So in this case I wanted 1 or 2, doesn't really matter so much, because 1 or 2 sig figs is fine with uncertainty, so you can adjust this like that. And there you go. So hopefully that helps you with getting your table set up. And in the next video, I will show you how to do some graphing. See you there.